Now we move on to the stages of translation and the process of translation in detail. Which are the four stages of translation? Actually, we may say there are five stages. First one is amino acylation of the tRNA. tRNA is coupled with amino acid. Second one is initiation of translation. Third one is elongation of the chain. And fourth one is termination. Actually, with this protein is synthesized, but the problem is that it may not be functional. To make it functional through several stages, it has to be folded and processed properly. So there is actually protein folding and processing as well. You might have studied that protein digesting enzymes of our alimentary canal are produced in an inactive form called as zymogens. Later they are processed or edited to convert them into the active form like that. Actually, that is coming under this heading, processing of the protein product. Let us see them in detail. Activation of amino acids. The carboxyl group of the amino acid must be activated to facilitate the formation of a peptide bond. And a link must be established between the amino acid and the information on the mRNA. Both these aims are achieved by attaching the amino acid to the tRNA. And it is very much important that the right amino acid should be coupled with the right tRNA. This is taking place in the cytoplasm, not on the ribosome. Each of the 20 amino acid is attached with a specific tRNA. ATP is required for this process, and magnesium ions are required for the activity of the enzyme. What's the enzyme? The enzyme is amino acyl tRNA synthetase. Now we say the amino acid is coupled with the tRNA. That means the tRNA is amino acylated. So when attached to their amino acid, the tRNAs are said to be charged. Remember, who is charged? Not the amino acid, but the tRNA. The tRNAs are charged with the amino acids. Okay. Amino acid plus ATP gives amino acyl AMP plus PPI. This much energy is required to carry out the reaction forward. And amino acyl AMP reacts with the tRNA, forming amino acyl tRNA. So this is a two-step reaction. This is a two-step reaction, and the energy released from this bond is actually utilized for running the chemical reaction forward. The enzyme is amino acyl tRNA synthetase. And what's the mechanism of the reaction? You need not study this mechanism by heart, but you should understand one thing, that this is the ATP reacts with the amino acid. This group is released as pyrophosphate. Now we have the amino acyl AMP. This is the amino acyl AMP, and in any one of the two reactions, the tRNA is coupled with it. Remember, this is the tRNA here. This tRNA is coming there, and what is this unit? This is the sugar. The sugar is bearing the adenine. Now it is adenosine. Now this adenosine is actually carrying the amino acid here. And the whole unit is reacting with the tRNA. And look here, this CH2 is bearing a phosphate group here. And that's on carbon number 5. This is carbon number 5, CH2. It's bearing the phosphate. it is this group, it is reacting with the tRNA. Is it clear now? It's reacting with the tRNA. So finally what is produced? There is a tRNA, phosphate, ribose sugar, adenine and amino acid. So look here, amino acid is joined with the adenosine with a phosphate. The adenosine is bearing the amino group on the carbon number 3 of the sugar. This is the sugar. Sugar is bearing carbon number 3. On that carbon number 3 is finally the amino acid present. Initially the amino acid was on carbon number 5. Then it is transferred from carbon number 5 to carbon number 3. What is remaining? This is amino acid AMP. Once the amino acid is gone, it is only adenine and phosphate group. Adenosine and phosphate group. So adenosine monophosphate is there. This is adenosine monophosphate bearing an amino acid. The amino acid is transferred to carbon number 3. What is remaining is adenosine monophosphate. That adenosine monophosphate goes out. Now there is a sugar is bearing adenine, and on the carbon number 3 there is amino acid, and here we have the tRNA coupled through a phosphate group. So this is the structure of aminoacyl tRNA. Amino acid, phosphate, sugar, amino acid, adenine. This is the structure of aminoacyl tRNA. Don't think that the amino acid on 3'OH is directly bearing an the tRNA on 3'OH is not directly carrying an amino acid. Actually, this is the tRNA. Amino acid is here. It is bonded through adenosine and phosphate. That means adenosine monophosphate. The same picture is enlarged once more. This is the tRNA. This is the 3' end of the tRNA. This is a phosphate. This is the carbon number 5 of the sugar. It is bearing an adenine. So this is actually adenosine. This was adenosine monophosphate. This was adenosine monophosphate. It is bearing the amino acid on carbon number 3. I think now the picture is clear to you. Again, aminoacyl tRNA synthetase. tRNA is seen there, green in color. This structure is the tRNA. You can see the tRNA is nearly L-shaped. Bound ATP can be seen, where in this ATP is present in the red color, bound ATP. Okay. Yes. The same picture, glutamine tRNA. Glutamine tRNA. This is actually photograph taken by means of scanning the molecule, and the color is given using computer. Now, charging of the tRNA is over. Coming to initiation. The mRNA bearing the code for the polypeptide is coming there. The large ribosomal subunit binds to form an initiation complex. First of all, the mRNA binds to the smaller subunit. This is the mRNA, binds with the smaller subunit, then binds the larger subunit. Now initiation complex is formed. Now this initiating aminoacyl tRNA base pairs with the mRNA codon AUG. AUG is the first codon, and that AUG is indicating a particular amino acid, methionine. And this process requires GTP and also initiation factors. So once the smaller subunit binds with the mRNA, then the larger subunit binds with the mRNA. Initiation codon AUG is in the site and GTP also is present there. Now along with initiation factors, initiation is over. Now what happens? The nascent polypeptide, newborn polypeptide is lengthened by covalent attachment of the amino acid units. Here, each of the amino acid is brought there by means of particular tRNAs, and the tRNA ensures that correct codon is there in the active site. Elongation factors are also required for this process, and the polypeptide is growing in length. Again, hydrolysis of GTP is required. Initiation process in the form of a diagram. This is the 30S subunit. P site is there, A site is there. Initiation factor 3, IF3 and IF1 are binding there. Then comes the messenger RNA. AUG initiation codon is there in the P site, make a note of it. Initiation factor 1 is there in the A site actually. And everything is written here. There is something called Shine-Dalgarno sequence. What's it? This sequence is there in the mRNA site. It is there in the mRNA. AUG is guided, the initiation codon AUG is guided to its correct position by the sequence. A sequence on the mRNA. I think now it is clear to you. Okay. Now, continuing, IF2 initiation factor 2 is joining here, and this is a tRNA. This is carrying formyl methionine, initiated tRNA it is, and GTP is also present. IF2 is joining. Now 50S subunit is joining. You can see here the larger subunit 50S is joined here. This is the larger subunit 50S. Formyl methionine is being transported by the first tRNA. This is the codon and this is the anticodon. Codon is there in the P site, anticodon is there complementary. Exit site is there. A site is empty. Remember, A site is empty. Initiation factors 1 and 2 and 3 are going out along with the hydrolysis of GDP. And that is what we told so far. Initiation complex is formed there, ready for elongation. Formyl methionine tRNA is there in the site. And this is the sequence, Shine-Dalgarno sequence responsible for placing the tRNA correctly, which is actually positioned against the initiation codon of the mRNA. Actually, Shine-Dalgarno sequence is positioning the mRNA sequence AUG in the correct position. Okay, this is about bacteria. Continuing with the picture, elongation. Then an incoming amino acid tRNA is coming there. A new amino acid tRNA is coming there. It is binding at the site A site. Already P site is occupied by tRNA carrying methionine. The second amino acid is brought there by the second tRNA. That tRNA is occupying the A site. Now the two amino acids are near to each other. If the second tRNA's anticodon is matching with the codon, that means this amino acid, the second amino acid, is the correct one at that position. But along with that, along with this process, what happens, you know? Many factors are there used in this process. You can see here TU coupled with GTP. All those different factors are there. Let us see what happens here. And one more thing, peptide bond is to be formed between the amino acids. That enzyme is peptidyl transferase. It is an it is not a proteinaceous enzyme. This peptidyl transferase is actually a ribosomal RNA. We will see that on the way. The first step of elongation cycle. Incoming amino acyl tRNA binds with the elongation factor TU. The name of the elongation factor is TU. It's a protein. The resulting amino acyl tRNA elongation factor TU GTP complex. Can you see here? TU GTP amino acyl tRNA, all those things together bind to the A site. So in the A site, what is there? There is the tRNA carrying amino acid, there is the elongation factor TU, and also there is the GTP. And the GTP is hydrolyzed, and the EFTU GDP converse is released from the 70S ribosome, and this GTP is regenerated later. Now you see everything is going out. Now peptide bond formation. Peptide bond is formed between the two amino acids. Remember, these two amino acids are now carried by their respective tRNAs. One of them is in the A site, one of them is there in the P site. Actually, the initiator tRNA is now in the P site and the second tRNA is there in the A site of the ribosome, and peptide bond is there formed. This reaction produces a dipeptide tRNA in the A site. Why? Because this bond is now cleaved. The bond connecting the first amino acid with its tRNA is cleaved. Now that tRNA is uncharged, deacylated. Now it is bound to the P site, but later it will go to the E site. Later this tRNA will go to the E site. Clear? And the second tRNA is still bound to the A site. And there is a proofreading. Proofreading is there at the level of activation of the amino acid, because only the correct amino acid is binding with the correct tRNA. And during the attachment of the amino acid to the adapted tRNA, appropriate placement of amino acid is ensured. Protein factors required at the time of initiation in bacteria and also in eukaryote. We already found it. And second elongation step is there. Second elongation step is there. First peptide bond is formed. The peptidyl transferase is a 23S ribosomal RNA ribozyme. Formal methionine group is now transferred. Now what is there is a dipeptide. Dipeptidyl tRNA is there. Both the tRNAs bound to the ribosome shift position in the 50S subunit to take up a hybrid binding state. The uncharged tRNA, that means the first tRNA which came there carrying the methionine, is now in the E site. Later it will go out of the E site. Okay, and now what happens? The 3' and 5' end of the peptidyl tRNA shift to the P site. Got it? The methionine tRNA is shifting from the P site to the E site. Then the P site was free. Now the peptidyl tRNA is carried by, the peptide is carried by a tRNA, the second tRNA, that is transferring to the P site. I think now it is clear to you. Now there is translocation. What is translocation? The ribosome moves one codon towards the 3' end of the mRNA. The ribosome moves one codon towards the 3' end of the mRNA. this moves the anticodon of the dipeptidyl tRNA also. It is moving from the A site to the P site, and the deacylated tRNA was there in the E site. From there it is released. Now the third codon of the mRNA is in the A site, so that a new tRNA carrying a particular amino acid now come to the A site. A new tRNA carrying a particular amino acid now can come to the A site. Translocase is required for this process. I think now it is clear to you. Now the third codon is in the A site. Okay. Third elongation step is now simple. The next tRNA is coming there to the A site. It is carrying an amino acid. If the codon is matching with the anticodon, the amino acid is joined to the previous one by means of peptidyl transferase. Then there is a translocation. Now the ribosome is moving one step to the right, one codon to the right. Again the A site becomes empty. Again a new tRNA carrying an amino acid coming there, and the process is repeated. So up to here, this is repeated so many times. If there are 100 amino acids in a polypeptide chain, this process is repeated 100 times. Ultimately, the ribosome is reaching the other end of the mRNA molecule. Now we are going to see termination.